Hello, everybody, and welcome to our What the Animals Want Us to Know series. And today we have episode 10 for you. And we have very special animals here with us, and they're the wolves. We have a pack of wolves for the messages, or we invited them. And we also have here the lovely Melia Brent-White. Hello, Melia, and welcome. And so we're going to have fun this last time for this online series, so there might be further events coming up, so do check out Animal Wisdom on Facebook or Creating Your Inner Equilibrium on Facebook, where you can see what will happen and what we will offer. But wolves today. So Melia, would you like to start off with a little wolf explanation?
So I'll share a little bit about the wolf totem from the Animal Speak book by Ted Andrews. So wolves are to do with guardianship, ritual, loyalty, and spirit. Wolves are probably the most misunderstood of wild mammals. Tales of terror and their cold-bloodedness abound. Although many stories tell otherwise, there's never been any confirmed attack or killing of a human by a healthy wolf. In spite of the negative press, wolves are almost the exact opposite of how they are portrayed. They're friendly, social, and highly intelligent. Their sense of family is strong and loyal, and they live by carefully defined rules and rituals. Wolves are the epitome of the wild spirit. Their positive characteristics are so numerous, it is no wonder that Native Americans and others practically deified them. Many believe that the true test of America's sincerity about protecting the environment will revolve around whether or not the wolf remains protected and is allowed to be reintroduced into areas of the country where it has heretofore been eliminated. The wolf is the true spirit of the free and unspoiled wilderness. Wolves are very ritualistic in as many ways as humans. They live by carefully defined rules. There are specific territories that are sacred. Their social behaviour is based upon a hierarchical structure. Each has its place and function within the hierarchy. There's an alpha male and an alpha female. Wolves do not fight unnecessarily. In fact, they will often go out of their way to avoid it. Though they are extremely strong and powerful, disagreements rarely end in serious fights. Often a glance, a posture, a growl is all that's necessary to determine dominance. They don't have to demonstrate it, but they are capable if it comes down to it. This is part of what wolf medicine teaches. The wolf teaches you to know who you are and to develop strength, confidence, and surety in that so that you do not have to demonstrate and prove yourself at all.
I think I like that. I like, I've been having this feeling when I was meditating and doing some Reiki transmissions out in nature, that I was sort of connecting to the earth. And this is the feeling that I kind of connect with wolves. You know, you're very connected to earth. You're very strong inside. Your core is strong. And this is something, I think it's lovely to find that strength within you, that you can actually just stand up and say, this is where I am. And again, our society is not really, build on that we all stand up and show you who we are. Our society is more built like, especially in the cities, where we need to cramp in. So we need to pull our energy back and not put it out so much. I mean, this is my experience. So I always feel that wolf energy is very much like contained in yourself, but strong, and being able to just rest.
Yeah, and I think especially as human females, we can learn a lot from the wolf totem. I'm hearing quite a few different stories with friends and in clinic at the moment of people being in, especially work environments, where they have a female boss and there's an extreme misuse of power, often through like bullying and different, the old divide and conquer. And really, this kind of behaviour, it's a symptom of our colonial mindset and our colonized mind, and it causes imbalance. And even reading that excerpt from the Animal Speaks book, it sounds like the wolves have got that social hierarchy and that structure where everything's in balance. And this is what we're lacking in our society, even within our governments. And it feels like, and I've personally been working through this, how do we change our culture to create a stronger system? And I feel the wolf totem has a lot to teach us about creating stronger, more harmonious and balanced systems.
You know what? I'm kind of being shown my own leadership and my own sort of response to leadership, bad or good leadership at the moment, and trying to find different ways to deal with bad leadership, the very sort of, aggressive, what you were saying, bullying and all that. And I found tuning into the wolf energy was supporting me in my, standing in my spot, going, it's just like being present where I am, and being present and not being pulling back and not apologizing for anything. I am the way I am, and I'm here, and that's good. This is how I feel. The energy is different to, I don't have a right to be here, and, I should apologize for being here. And so I think it's a very clean, strong energy that supports us being present and show who we are. So
and a lot of it's to do with our relationship with our own power. And how we're connected with that. And even recently, I've had a few experiences, connecting with our killer nature. As humans, we are destroyers or we're creators. We do have this ability to kill. And especially as women, often that becomes huge shadow personality things, because a huge shadow personality energy charge, because we're not connected with that inside ourselves at all. Meanwhile, thinking about that wolf totem energy, it's like you don't have to do it, but you have to be connected with it so that someone else knows that you've got it, basically. Right. And we do that by developing our own relationship with our own inner power. I've gotten into archery recently, and someone took a photo of me, and I looked at the look on my face and I thought, I don't want to be on the other side of that arrow.
But it's nice. It's like, you know what? I don't understand why we are so shying back. I mean, as women, shying back from, showing power and determination and leadership. And it's something so nice to be able to tap into that power and know, because we are all really powerful, but sometimes we cut ourselves off that power, and
often for good reason. It's a lot to do with whether it was safe to be powerful as youngsters. It's to do with the family, it's to do with society, it's to do with schooling. So often there's very good reasons why we have a distorted energy relationship with power, but that doesn't mean that it has to be that way for the rest of your life.
And there comes an age and there comes a time in a woman's life where it becomes okay to be powerful. This is what I feel, It's where you have learned enough to deal with real power and leadership. And probably looking back, maybe, you know, when I was 20, I wouldn't have been wise enough to tap into that enormous power and energy. So now, you know, 29 years later, I feel, you know, I'm more suited to tap into that energy and to sort of channel that energy and become that energy than I was when I was younger. So yes, thank you for kind of bringing that point up, that maybe it wasn't safe at a certain point in your life.
And also, we're not taught as a society how to deal with power well. There's a lot of distortion. I watched a short film the other night, and it was a beautiful Indigenous Australian film, and basically the elders took this young boy, he was about 6, into the bush, and they left him there. They said, "You stay here," and then they disappeared for a few hours. And he went on a journey of exploration, and eventually he found them, and they had tea and some damper for him. And at the end of it, one of there was an elder that came on and spoke, and he said, I remember this happening when I was a child. They just used to go and leave me in the forest, or in the bush as we call it here in Australia, and then I would have to find my own way. And I feel that part of that is about teaching people how to resource themselves and to resource their own power as well. And there's just certain structures and ways to nourish that connection to power that not everyone's experienced in our Western culture.
That's true, because maybe we don't have so much need, you know, to these are two different things. Navigate your way back from the bush, or navigate your way around on the underground. You know, it's sort of, when do you really have to step into this power that you know, this raw wolf-like power?
Well, I've got a message that ties in with that.
Yeah, great.
And, you know, again, we haven't spoken about our messages, so this is the wolf energy guiding us. We're coming to a point where society has to change, you know, like things are going to change in our lifetime. And even when I was younger, I felt the urge, probably in my 20s, to begin to collect cans and hoard food, like this kind of urge to know how to survive. And obviously it hasn't happened yet, but it's just good to have skills. And often I think, like, I've got some skills, but to live and to survive in the world without the trappings of society requires more skills, and some of those skills we've forgotten. So I connected to a desert wolf called Mahila, and she was just a little female, and she actually said she was a desert dusky wolf, but I couldn't find exactly what a desert dusky wolf was, but there were dusky wolves and there were desert wolves. So she said, survival. Every day is about survival and relying on our skills to stay alive. Sometimes I'm alone and sometimes I'm with the pack. It is easier to survive with others as we work in a team and share the spoils. We howl at the moon, asking us to set us free. It keeps us in a cycle separate to the earth cycle. Find your inner survival skills. You will need them.
It's so funny that it's actually exactly what you've been talking about. So yeah, survival skills. I think, you know, I have a feeling that these skills that we're needing, they're changing. You know, so far my survival skills were mostly based on how to survive in society and in family, you know, meaning not, you know, it's not really the survival, it's the survival of my being. so that I didn't have to, I was sort of trying to survive with me being intact, instead of, you know, kind of throwing me overboard and becoming one member of, you know, society, family, or groups. So but now I feel that the energy has changed so much that, you know, what the wolf was talking about, the survival means something different. The survival really means something. How do I interact with my surroundings? How do I interact with nature? How do I interact with animals? You know, how do we want to start being with our environment and our nature and our animals? Because, you know, what we were sort of channeling and talking about, eating animals, and that is a natural thing, and animals actually say it is okay. You know, we send one of the animals that is old, or, you know, is ready to go, but we have come so far from this balance and natural living together. So now our skills, if we want to change, or we need to change, probably we don't want to, but we need to change the way we live. We need to change the skills, because if we were going back to a more balanced lifestyle of hunting, you know, I don't know how that would look, but getting away from the factory farmed animals, then we need to have skills like your archery skills.
Yeah, and plant-based growing skills, and knowing how to make soil fertile, and knowing what herbs we can eat. Like in Europe, there's a lot of, I mean, there is a movement around it, you know, foraging, and even that nose to tail eating, the way of eating every single part of the animal, which is much more respectful way of going about things. Not that I, anyway. I think when we're hungry, you're less fussy, like you have less choice, and it probably will come to that. Hunger is the mother of, no, necessity is the mother of all invention or skill acquisition. And I do feel there's a movement around recrafting. It's how do we reconnect with these old craft and hunting ways, because, you know, even when I walk in the bush here, I was walking this morning, and I was thinking about how lightly do we walk on the earth, and I'm a bit of an elephant. Now, I try to walk a bit softer, but it's not like I've been trained from a young age to meld and to blend, a bit like what the deer spoke to us about melding into the dappled light. We're very noticeable. So if we're going around trying to hunt something and we're super noticeable, it's just not going to happen. So there's this whole difference in way of being.
Yeah. No, that's true. I don't know if my next message that I picked up ties in that, you know, ties into that, what we've been talking about. But maybe a little bit. I'll just read it, and then we can decide. I connected to a grey wolf, and this grey wolf said he lives in Siberia in a big forest. The weather is often very harsh, and he would like to be called Sasha. And this is what Sasha said: "We animals find life hard too, like you humans. We have to deal with hunters, harsh weather, and recently with big fires too. But we don't stay with that feeling for too long. Often, only a moment later, we find something we really enjoy, like cuddling up in a small hole with your pack to warm each other, or just watching the sun or the stars. Howling always makes us feel good. What makes you humans feel good?"
I feel that ties in a lot with my next message as well.
Okay.
there's a lot of similarities there.
One thing I wanted to say to this is, first of all, with the wolves, I started Googling quite a bit because I didn't know anything about wolves, and
My wolf in the background.
I didn't know whether they had wolves in Siberia or did they have forests in Siberia. So yes, they do, and I Googled that. And also what I didn't know is that they've been having really big wildfires there too. So there is big parts of Siberia is burning, because the wolf kind of mentioned that, and I thought, okay, I hadn't heard about that. And there is a lot of forest being destroyed. I don't know what the update on the wildfires in Siberia is, whether they're still burning. They were burning in August, but I only saw that on when I Googled it. So I don't know what the latest is, but yeah.
Yeah, there's lots of fires happening all around the world. The east coast of Australia's burning as well.
Okay.
But fire, it can be catastrophic and you can lose everything. But it can also be like the phoenix rising from the ashes and a very transmuting process.
Yeah.
So, but even where I live here, we live with the threat of fire every year. It's a very real threat.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do we do when nature brings us things?
Oh.
We have to survive. It's that survival thing again, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what your wolf friend is doing. Surviving, but appreciating the moments. I've read quite a few things of people that survived the Holocaust and the psychology. They went on to become psychologists, and they wrote about what they were thinking about during their time in camps. And the ones that survived and came out of it and were able to share their story about their experience, but they just focused on very, very small things, like what your wolf's talking about, the things that got them through the day. And also they visualized their future. They visualized where they would be when this was over. So it's an interesting thing to look into, that psychology.
Yeah.
And of course, there's natural human survival skills throughout history, because there's been terrible things that have happened throughout history, not just the one terrible thing. There's multiple terrible things, but we do have like these inbuilt survival systems, just like the animals do too. So I connected to a Eurasian wolf. So they're also around like Russia, Eurasia. And he actually said he was a golden wolf, but I think that was more like his colour was more golden, because I tried to see if there were golden wolves in Eurasia, and they said no, there's only African golden wolves. So I also did a lot of Googling about where the wolves were, and especially when they told me what they were, I'm like, okay, where are you? He said, we are very afraid of people now, that there are not many of us left. The fear runs like a current through the land. We can feel how much fear people have towards life and nature. Yes, we kill and hunt things, but it is our nature and it is what we were born to do. Some winters are very hard with less food and places to go, so that drives us to the town sometimes. People get very scared and we hear them saying that we should die. It would be better if there was space for us and different space for humans, but there are many peoples and growing every year. So when they said many peoples, it was like in capitals. It was like this concept of many peoples.
You know what?
And it's like the many peoples are multiplying.
I actually have picked up a very similar message like you just did. It's basically saying exactly the same. So I think this is really interesting that some of the animals choose to kind of say the same thing again, sometimes in different words, and sometimes it basically the same words. And I feel that if something like that happens, it's sort of, look at this, look at this, it's sort of reminding us to look at that. And I just read my message, and then you can see how similar it is. I connected to a wolf. He was very cagey. He didn't want to say a lot about himself. And he said, I live somewhere in the eastern part of Germany, but I won't tell you the exact place, as I'm afraid to get killed. People are so afraid of us, and we don't want to harm anybody. We also just want to live a peaceful life. When we eat some of your livestock, we are hungry, and we don't do this for fun. But what really throws us is that the livestock doesn't run away when we come close. In our language, that means eat me, I'm old or sick. And so we eat too many. If we had more space to hunt and live, we wouldn't come close to your houses at all. We're happy being away from humans and civilization, but we're hungry. So I feel this is very similar to what your wolf said.
Yeah, and it's another highlighting of us humans not thinking about the needs of others in our environment, and that's as a race. I know that, even here in Australia, like often Aboriginal people would be killing livestock, say 100 years ago, and then up until 1966, you were legally able to shoot an Aboriginal person on your land as livestock.
Wow.
So there's a similarity between like some Indigenous races and how they've been treated and how people treat wolves. And I guess there's this lack of respect and understanding that all beings have needs and have that need to eat. And if their natural way of going about things have been taken away from them, then they will go to domesticated stock. Yeah. For example, I had a fox visitor yesterday, and the fox is it's connected to the wolf family. They're from the same family. So we don't have wolves here, but we have foxes. So I was outside. Miriam already knows this story, but I'll share it again. Outside, reading the paper, enjoying the sunshine. I hear the chickens starting to go crazy. And then I thought, what's going on? And I heard one of the roosters like, wah, 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 wah. And then I thought, oh, there's a dog chasing the rooster. And then around the corner is this fox chasing the rooster. And then the rooster ran into the fence, like we've got a dog fence, and then the fox had him, and he had him around the neck. And he had him good. He was dead pretty much. The rooster was dead. But I'd walked up close, and I was only a metre away, like I was so close. And I shouted out, hey, in like a really quite authoritarian voice. And the fox dropped the rooster, and the rooster got away, and the fox ran off. But he was skinny, and he had half his tail. He had half his fur missing on his tail. So it made me think after that whole incident, it really got my blood up, because I was like, whoa, this is really, really random. You don't often see foxes during the daytime. But it got me thinking about, okay, was like that fox, he might not have much of a chance to eat another meal that day. He was really hungry, although there are bunnies around and there's also doves, but perhaps the rooster was a good target. And I was thinking maybe that was the rooster's time. Maybe his number was up and I interfered.
Mm.
And the rooster's still alive. He's back in the cage. And the fox will come back. We've actually had, since we've done the foxes episode, we've had foxes almost every night at our chicken pen. They make the dogs go nuts. But it's just interesting how we can interfere with those natural cycles, and maybe the rooster's number was up. Maybe he was destined for the fox, and maybe the fox will find him again. Because that particular rooster, he does actually sleep outside. He sleeps in the tree because we've got 2 roosters. But anyway, he's safe for now.
That is amazing, isn't it? And sometimes it's hard to it's hard to know whether you changed anything and you changed the outcome. But I believe that it's all in divine order. So that you saved him was part of the plan. If you wouldn't have saved him, our talking about this incident would have been completely different. So so there's a meaning behind the savior, and there's a meaning behind also talking about the interference, but it is right the way it is. That's what I believe. And if his number, if his time is up, there will be something else.
Yeah, it'll come around again if it's meant to be. And it was quite unusual that I was out there at that time. If I'd been inside, he would have killed the rooster.
Yeah.
If I hadn't have been there, right there, a meter away, he would have killed the rooster. So yeah, it was a very interesting experience to be a part of, and it certainly got my fierce kind of warrior killer energy up.
the wolf energy.
The wolf energy, it was a protective energy.
Yeah. So you're next with a message.
I don't have any more. I just had 2.
Okay, I have one more, and it's very different from the messages that we listened to before. This is a female white wolf, and she's from Alaska, and her name is Antaya. And this is what she said: "I'm pretty fortunate. I love my life. I don't have too many problems. I have a lovely pack, a lovely partner, and we just had cubs. They're still young and it's a lot of work, but I love looking at them and seeing how much they're learning all the time. Sometimes I ask myself why I'm so happy all the time. And then I look around me. Beautiful landscape, water, lots of food to hunt, and a great partner in life. I think happiness attracts more happiness. And since meeting my wolf partner, I'm becoming more and more happy each day, even though sometimes I think it's not possible. We wolves see each other, and when we decide, when we think we would make a good pack to go together, we go together. That's how we do it." So I actually Googled that as well, because I didn't know how wolves would kind of find each other or live together. And they do live in these family-like packs, and they're very loyal to each other. And I was reminded of, marriage, that they come together and they stay together. Marriage in a positive way.
And it's such a beautiful message, because it really highlights the simplicity of appreciation.
Yeah.
And how that can bring us happiness.
I also like the happiness breeds happiness. That when we're happy, we're becoming more and more happy, because it's sort of the law of attraction. You're sending out this frequency or this vibration of love and appreciation, and life shows you those or highlights those things in your life that have the same vibration, love and appreciation and beautiful situations. So a reminder again to be happy and make an effort in a way to be happy, you know, decide to be happy, because I think we humans, unless apart from the animals, we have the possibility to decide to be happy. You know, we have this, we can stay in the worry, or we can shift to being happy. I think animals, they don't, I have never seen an animal that decided to stay in the worry and what will happen tomorrow, and do I have enough this, or do I'm good enough.
Some dogs that live with humans have
okay.
I haven't picked up some human energy,
and they take it on that, yeah. But I haven't met, or I haven't really communicated with many animals where I had that feeling. So
yeah. I had a day the other day, and I said to my husband, I just had the best day, and it was a really simple day. There was nothing, you know, nothing to crow about, nothing to put on Instagram, nothing to tell anyone about, but it was just a great day. Had like lovely cups of tea, some time with friends, you know, some nice conversation, not long time, just short periods of time. Got the bow and arrow out a few times with different people. And then I spent some time with my horses, and my husband puts a hot water bottle in my bed for me every evening. It's just the most beautiful thing to receive. I think we also have to be able to receive and open to the simplicity of happiness as well, and not look for amazing things that necessarily like whack the senses, but it's just that contentment, and the contentment in simple things.
Yeah. And, you know, notice those things.
Notice that and be open to receiving it, because it's in every moment if we look for it. And it's kind of like, if you keep your eyes open, then every moment has something to give you. I actually spoke to a silver dragon today, and the silver dragon, no, it wasn't the silver dragon that gave me this message. It was someone else. It was actually Merlin. But I'll read what it is. There is magic in everything. We will dissolve the haze that clouds the eyes so that you can see the brightness again. I have another one. Sensuality is learning to fall in love over and over again. Life can be your friend if you let it love you back.
Yeah, I like that.
That was actually, so these were in my Mindscape workshop. I have like male and female guides, and today it was Merlin, and the female one was Nigella, and so that second one was from Nigella. It ties in with what we're talking about.
Yeah, do you know what? I think it's a great reminder, because I think we all have these moments of small happiness. What you were saying about having a cup of tea, or, you know, speaking to your friends, or spending time with your friends, or spending time with your animals. But sometimes we're too busy because we're in our worry, you know, in our mind, where we worry about tomorrow, or we worry about yesterday, or something like that we don't appreciate those moments fully. And we don't, because it's nothing to put on Instagram. I love when you said that, you know, a day without anything to put on Instagram. We don't see it, because
there's a different consciousness that you look at with the world when you're not thinking about looking through a camera. And my horses show me there's a difference as soon as I bring the camera out.
Yeah.
And they don't give me the same moments when the camera's there. I can't capture what I captured a little bit yesterday, but it's not the same. And what they give me when I have given, it's about undivided attention. It's about your quality of consciousness. And I think we may have talked about it in another episode about everything wants our attention. Yeah. Yes, it does, but it wants our quality of attention, because some people might have heard us talking about that and said, well, I give my children plenty of attention and it's not quite enough, or whatever it is. And the thing is, it's about tuning into yourself, and it's the quality of the consciousness and the attention that you're giving. And it's attention from the heart. It's about being fully present in the moment, not being half somewhere else in the head. And what worry is an emotion that takes us out of the present moment. It takes us either into the future or the past. So anytime you're worrying, you can just go, ping, I am not in the present.
Yeah. The funny thing is, recently when I've gone out to into the nature, and I was doing my Reiki because I decided I wanted to send Reiki to the world and just channel Reiki for everybody, any soul that needed it. And I was very connected, and it was a lovely, beautiful moment. And I tried to capture that in a photo afterwards, and it doesn't reflect it at all. It doesn't show, and I was like, that's interesting, because inside me I could feel this, and I was very rich. And yeah, so I stopped trying to take pictures of those kind of connections, and it doesn't matter, but yeah, that was just something. If it's real, maybe if it's really, really, really real, then it doesn't show on Instagram or Facebook.
Exactly. I just want to show you this, because I drew myself 3 dragon cards today, and one of them is the Earth and Fire Dragon, and it says, it works with you to clear the 5th dimensional ley lines. It's time for service. When you give, you receive, and it's all about giving the earth energy, which is what you were just talking about. So yeah. Another beautiful synchronicity that we don't fully understand, but we embrace the journey.
And we have something very special for all viewers and listeners today. So we're going to do some breathing and a heart-based felt breathing. And yeah, let's it's to connect with the earth and connect with yourself. So Melia, would you like to guide us in this little?
I would. So I'll invite you just to find yourself a comfortable place, either sitting or lying down, and put your feet gently on the floor. And if you're lying down, you can bend your knees and put your feet on the floor, or you can use your imagination that your feet are on the floor. And just begin by taking some big, deep breaths. And just letting out with a sigh during the exhale. Another big, deep breath whenever you're ready. And a sigh on the exhale. Another big, deep breath. Now wiggle your toes and just notice how the bottom of your feet are connecting to the earth. And just imagining that your feet are like little suction cups, and they're just beginning to resource and suck up the beautiful earth energy up through your legs, almost like straws. And we're drinking up the straws all the way to the heart. So just Feel that connection coming all the way up through your ankles and your lower legs, your knees, thighs, hips, belly, lower back, and then all the way up to the heart. You can just pop your hand there. And just notice that gentle suctioning energy. And just continue breathing for a few deep breaths and just focusing on that sigh. And just notice your heart center filling with that energy from the earth. Come up to your mind and just notice where your mind's at. Is it busy? Is it slow? Is it in the future or the past? Or is it here in the present moment? Just take a moment to sit with your mind and just watch it for a few seconds. And now bring your mind's eye all the way down through your head and your face and your neck, all the way down into the heart. And just begin by taking a few deep breaths in and out from the heart center. Just allowing that heart to gently breathe in and out, and you can feel into expanding or exploring that heart energy in whatever way feels right for you. And just imagining that you've got doors on your heart. And if it feels right for you, open those doors and invite your inner wolf into your heart. Just sit and breathe for a few moments with this wolf friend, which is a part of you and is of you and connected to this wild nature that every person has inside of them. And then we're going to draw up from the earth energy up through our legs, through the heart, and then we're going to release a howl in whatever way feels right for you. And if you want to just do a howl inside your mind, that's fine. And if you want to quiet the recording, if you're in a public place, we're going to howl. So just take a big deep breath, and then on the exhale, you're just going to release whatever howl feels right for you. Just take a few moments and just feel like, what does that feel for your body? What are you noticing with your body? Are there any areas where the howl is getting stuck? And another big deep breath. And with the next inhale, we're going to do another big howl. And another few big deep breaths. Just noticing any sensations or feelings you have within the body. And we're going to do one more. So big, deep inhale. And exhale. And just sit with your heart center again. And then just you can put your heart center back to a place that feels right for you, especially if you're going into the normal world after listening to this recording. You might just want to close those heart doors. But just bring yourself back to a place that feels right for you. And then when you're ready, wiggling your shoulders and your fingertips and your toes and just coming back into the present moment and opening your eyes.
That was very nice to bring the wolf energy in, and my dog came in. I could hear him coming in when we were howling. So yes, that was a lovely ending of our 10-week What Do the Animals Want Us to Know series and wolf episode. And for me, I have to say, this 10-week, it was like a course. It was a course in animal wisdom. It was a course in what do the animals want us to really see and know and feel. And things have changed. Things have changed in the way I connect with Earth, I connect with myself, and I connect with nature. I think the way I connect. And I have received many insights, many new messages, new wisdom, and I've had many new ideas. So yeah, I feel I've become closer to who I am with the help of the animals.
I laughed when you said that things have changed, because things can change is something that's been on my mind. Those 3 words, it's like things can change. And it's really connecting to our ability to grow and to align even deeper to ourselves. And I feel that this journey has definitely brought that through for me as well. And I have learnt a lot. It's been extremely, extremely rich, and I'm sure it won't stop even after today. It's like this unfolding gift of consciousness, and it's a very powerful thing to open to and to experience.
And I'm really appreciating the time that we have taken, both of us, to go on this journey. And I'm very grateful that we had the opportunity to do this, and to be in this journey together. And I even feel I might want to do the whole 10 episodes at some point again, and sort of see how I received the messages and how I received the meditations that we chose to pair up with the messages. And I'm just deeply grateful for this beautiful experience and this beautiful journey that we have taken, and the people that interacted and the people that gave us the feedback and came on the journey with us, and let us know that how they received the messages and the meditation. So it was an amazing experience, and I'm really happy.
Thank you to everyone, and thank you, Miriam. And the animals.
Yes, thank you, Melia, for your time and your input and your meditations and your messages, and for just being you. It was lovely to have you here, and I thank the animals and everybody that took part. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye. See you soon.